It was a very early passion. I was very young because I started assisting, I was 17. And since then, this has been my job, my work and my passion. Fashion has changed a lot. Now it's very sophisticated as a field. Contemporary art deal with fashion imagery. At the beginning, we were really dealing with the dress, the model, a light. It was naive. Photography was very simple at the end, you know. And there was less pretentious somehow, but less sophisticated. The 80s magazines, they enter in a big change because of fashion, and made in Italy was really exploding, you know. So, for example, a magazine was very important, in my opinion, in this period was Amica. Paolo Pietroni was the new director. Amica became a big magazine, very glossy. And he started to use photographers like Patrick de Marchelier or Helmut Newton. At this time, I was doing fashion. And Pietroni comes and said to me, listen, forget fashion. you will be a portrait photographer. And he said that very simple. It was like this, that's it. So I was very happy with that because I was looking for something real. And little by little, I started to take pictures of very important people. I remember, you know, to go in Paris to take portrait of Paloma Picasso. There that I meet Gianni Versace. And then I did a portrait of him for Amica, and we started to know each other. And I started also to work for Versace. This was very important for me. When magazines were asking for portrait, he called me to do some portrait of him. I'm really happy with what I did with him because there is something going on in this picture. Roberto Capucci is really an artist. He's a fashion artist. I don't know how to call him. Also, I was taking a portrait of him for Amica, and then I went to his atelier in Rome, and his dress were like, you know, sculpture, and I was really into that. I love it. So I asked him to give me some clothes, to do some picture for me, like as a personal research. Actually, it was an exhibition in Milano in the mid-80s. I was working well, but I wasn't really happy. It became a point I was traveling a lot, shooting fashion, but photography-wise I was a little bit unhappy. I remember at that time I buy a Rolleiflex, and I was using these Rolleiflex just to take pictures at home or, you know, personal stuff. And I remember very well, I went to this trip in Kenya for a magazine called Moda. The fashion editor was Ivana Spernicelli. And we were doing this good fashion story, very honest, you know. But I had with me in my hotel room this picture of my daughter done with this Rolleiflex. Square, simple. This picture was, I started to look at this picture and question myself and say, why your fashion pictures are not like this? Why they have to look like fashion picture? And really, and from the next morning, I talked with Ivana and said, listen, Ivana, we have to change everything. I want to change everything. I want to change the point of view. I want to do something different. So combining the Rolleiflex and the negative and the square format and an approach that was very soft, you know, like taking a picture of my daughter. I started to become very, very happy with my fashion photography. By chance, I meet Peter Lindbergh in Arla, and I show him this portfolio, and he was really he was really enthusiastic about it. He said, "Listen, I like this work, and you must go to the States. You must go to New York, absolutely." So I say, "Okay." And well, I went there, and it was really a turning point. So I started to establish this kind of photography. I've never been really inspired by fashion photography for my fashion photography. Of course, I read, there is a lot of fashion photographers that I think they are doing a fantastic work, and somehow I'm inspired by them. But now I'm much more inspired from my point of view, you know, and my roots on classical photography, reportage photography. I'm also inspired by, for example, movies. My picture, I think they have a kind of cinematic energy. So, of course, everything is very important. But, for example, literature is very important for me, almost as movies. Well, I think that my style in fashion photography, also through the years actually, because of course the aesthetical can change in the time, but what remain probably at the roots is truth, because the truth comes from my roots in reportage. I'm a realistic photographer, so I always relate to something that is happening at that moment. I'm not somebody that dream about or that think, you know, also to the model. My relation with the models is really based about the person I have in front. I actually hate the word models, because the word models means that she's not what she is, but she's a model of something else. And I can really relate with that, because I take picture of air. I don't know what make exactly my picture. I can guess that it's about truth and reality. When I shot fashion, I try to relate to the situation in a real way. Also with the model, I try to portray her, not my idea of her. Thank you very much being here, and I hope you enjoy my story, and see you soon on World Fashion Channel.